For more on that story, we can now cross to Josephine McKenna in Rome. Thanks for joining us, Josephine. We've heard that Italy's foreign minister has summoned the French ambassador after criticism from Paris, and this has gone to a ministerial level now. This started off as a humanitarian issue. It's becoming a diplomatic row. What's the latest on that?
Well, relations between Italy and France struck a new low this morning when the new Foreign Minister Enzo Moavero Milanesi summoned the French ambassador to say the comments made by French President Emmanuel Macron calling Italy irresponsible and cynical were completely unacceptable, unjustifiable, and were compromising relations between France and Italy. Now, Italy is demanding an official apology from the French government before it officially confirms the visit, the proposed visit by the Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, who is due to go and meet President Macron at the Élysée Palace on Friday. And I just spoke to Palazzo Chigi, the office of the Prime Minister. They said, call us back tomorrow. We don't know if the Prime Minister will be attending that meeting with President Macron. So a very tense situation at the moment, and Interior Minister Matteo Salvini has been speaking in Parliament this morning. He too stepped up the pressure, demanding an apology from the French government, and said it was completely unacceptable, saying that the French had failed to accept more than 350 migrants, failed to meet a commitment to accept the 9,000 migrants that it had pledged to accept over the last 3 years, and had also pushed back 10,000 migrants who had tried to cross that border from Italy into France in just the past few months. So Italy is demanding action, not words, from the President, and saying that the current policies are unacceptable. The words that were used yesterday were offensive and also unacceptable, and were compromising relations between these two countries right now.
And indeed, we're seeing a growing rift between perhaps two camps in Europe. Hungary offered their support for Italy's quite hardline position on immigration, and Spain is perhaps joining France a little more in the tone. Do you see this perhaps spiralling?
Well, there is a risk of seeing this become a bilateral negotiation between various countries instead of something that is dominated and handled and coordinated effectively by the European Union. That's what seems to be at risk here. And Matteo Salvini, the Interior Minister, has been having discussions with his Hungarian counterpart. He spoke to the German Interior Minister yesterday, saying that they had reached some sort of agreement about a new kind of plan to try and stop the flow of migrants coming across from Libya. And Matteo Salvini, this new Interior Minister, the leader of the Anti-Immigrant League, has also been very critical of France in the sense that he accuses France of failing to do enough in Libya to stop the flow of migrants, to stabilise the country and leave Italy alone to handle this problem. So this is not something that's going to go away very soon, and what we're seeing from this new Italian administration is zero tolerance for Italy to have to handle this influx of migrants on their own.
And indeed, speaking of those people trying to reach European shores, can you tell us about the situation as it stands in terms of where these boats are and where these people are in the Mediterranean at the moment?
Well, we had a new arrival this morning in Catania. It's an Italian Coast Guard vessel called the Diciotti. It's brought in more than 900 migrants who landed there this morning. And that's an interesting distinction since we've had such an uproar over the fate of the Aquarius. The Interior Minister, Mr Salvini, says this is a different situation because this boat has been brought in by an Italian vessel and not by an NGO. He wants to shut out the NGOs who he says are running a business of trafficking across the Mediterranean. So this boat has landed with 900 immigrants. Sea-Watch, the German NGO, has another vessel with around 40 survivors that it's trying to make its way from Libyan waters towards Italy. And so it'll be interesting to see if we will see another confrontation between that NGO and the Italian government, because Mr Salvini has already said we won't be accepting that vessel.
Indeed, and we'll be keeping you updated on that. Thank you very much, Josephine McKenna, reporting there from Rome.